The starship Celestial Worm drifted through the outer rim like a dying god, its massive hull hemorrhaging atmosphere and radiation into the void. On any other day, the salvage crew of the Horizon's Edge would have ignored the distress beacon. Dragons, the ancient biomechanical beings who had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years, didn't ask for help. They didn't need it, but this one was dying. "I'm picking up a faint life signature," Katniss said, her fingers dancing across the console of her engineering station. Her dark hair was tied back in a messy bun, streaked with engine grease that never quite washed out. "It's weak. Whatever's in there won't last another cycle." Neo leaned over her shoulder, his augmented eye whirring as it focused on the readout. "That's a Dragon-class vessel. Nobody's seen one of those in active space for decades. Command said they all went dark after the Convergence Wars." "Command says a lot of things," Katniss muttered, already plotting an approach vector. "I'm going in." "Kat, wait." But she was already moving, her magnetic boots clanking toward the airlock. Neo cursed under his breath and followed. Whatever humanity lacked in ancient technology or telepathic prowess, they made up for in sheer, stubborn audacity. It's what made them survivors. The interior of the Celestial Worm was a cathedral of dying light. Bioluminescent veins pulsed weakly along the walls, and the air tasted of ozone and something sweeter, like burnt cinnamon. The ship was alive, or had been. Now it was a corpse trying to remember how to breathe. "This way," Katniss said, following the energy signature deeper into the vessel. Neo kept his plasma rifle ready, scanning the shadows. Dragons were peaceful until they weren't. They found it in the heart chamber. The dragon was magnificent even in death. Its body stretched 20 meters, covered in scales that shimmered between silver and deep purple. Biomechanical wings lay folded against its sides, threaded with fiber-optic nerves that flickered like dying stars. Its eyes, massive, multifaceted orbs, fixed on Katniss as she approached. Human. The dragon's voice resonated not in the air, but directly in their minds. A psychic whisper that made Neo flinch. "You should not be here, my kind. We do not accept charity from your species." "Good thing I'm not offering charity," Katniss said, kneeling beside the creature's massive head. She pulled out her scanner, running diagnostics on the dragon's biosystems. "I'm a mechanic." "And you're broken. Broken," the dragon echoed, and something like amusement colored its mental voice. "I am Vex Theron, first wing of the Starborn Ascendancy. I have seen galaxies born and civilizations fall to dust. I am not broken. I am dying." "Same thing to me," Katniss replied, already opening her toolkit. "Neo, I need you to interface with the ship's neural network. See if you can stabilize the life support systems around this chamber." Neo hesitated. "Kat, even if we stabilize him, his core is failing. Look at the readings. His fusion heart is collapsing. We don't have the tech to repair a dragon. Then we'll improvise." She looked up at Vex Theron's eyes. "I'm going to need your permission to work on your systems." "Full access." The dragon was silent for a long moment. Dragons were proud beings, ancient and powerful. To allow a human, a species they had once dismissed as primitive scavengers, to touch their sacred biomechanics was unthinkable. "Why?" Vex Theron asked. "Why would you help me?" "My kind hunted yours during the Convergence. We burned your colony worlds. We believed you were inferior." Katniss shrugged. "Maybe we are. Maybe we're not. But I don't fix things because of politics or history. I fix things because they deserve to work." She placed a hand on the dragon's scaled hide. "And you deserve to fly again." Something shifted in Vex Theron's eyes. "Very well, human mechanic. Do what you will." For 18 hours, Katniss worked. She bypassed failing neural clusters, rerouted power from auxiliary systems, and improvised repairs using components from their own ship. Neo watched in amazement as she literally welded a human-made plasma regulator into a system, designed by beings who had mastered faster-than-light travel before Earth's sun had finished forming. It shouldn't have worked. The technologies were incompatible. The scale was all wrong, but humans had a gift. They adapted. They improvised. They made the impossible merely improbable. "Firing up the fusion heart now," Katniss said, her voice hoarse from exhaustion. "Vex, this is going to hurt." "Pain is an old friend," the dragon replied. Energy surged through the chamber. The bioluminescent veins flared bright, then brighter. Vex Theron's massive body convulsed, wings unfurling with a sound like tearing metal. For a moment, Neo thought they'd failed, that the dragon would simply tear itself apart. Then the fusion heart stabilized. The rhythm became steady, strong. Vexatheron's eyes blazed with renewed life. Impossible, the dragon whispered. You did it, a human. Saved a dragon. Katniss wiped sweat from her forehead, leaving another grease streak. Told you. I'm a mechanic. 3 cycles later, the celestial worm stood fully operational in orbit around the salvage station. Word had spread. A human had repaired a dragon. The galaxy watched with a mixture of disbelief and fear. Dragons were returning to known space, and they were led by Vexatheron, who now flew with a hybrid human-dragon crew. On the bridge of the horizon's edge, Katniss received a transmission. Vexatheron's massive form filled the viewscreen. The Ascendancy believes I have gone mad, the dragon said, amusement clear in its mental voice. They say I dishonor our kind by allying with humans. Are you? Neo asked, perhaps, but I have learned something in my dying and rebirth. Your species possesses something we lost long ago. The audacity to believe that nothing is truly broken beyond repair. Vexatheron's eyes gleamed. The stars grow dark with new threats, human mechanic. Would you consider a more permanent partnership? Katniss looked at Neo, who grinned despite himself. She turned back to the screen. I'm going to need a bigger toolkit. And so began the alliance that would reshape the galaxy, not with weapons or conquest, but with one simple human principle. Everything can be fixed if you're stubborn enough to try. The bond between a dying dragon and a human mechanic had indeed shook the stars.